Now, whether or not you want your ex back, it can be very hard to deal with the thought that they now dislike or even hate you. And while this does happen after some breakups, the good news is that it's rarely the case that your ex actually hates you, even if they tell you that they do. But if they don't hate you, then why are they acting this way? Why are they being so cold? Why are they even being rude or even cruel? And why might they say that they hate you if it's not actually true? I'll cover all that and more in this video, including what to do if your ex is treating you this way. As always, if you find this video helpful, I'd really appreciate if you'd click the subscribe button to show your support. And feel free to leave your questions and feedback in the comments below as well. Now, let's talk about why your ex is being mean or rude to you. This is actually something that happens quite frequently, so don't think that you're alone if this is a scenario you're facing right now, because I hear this question all the time. In some cases, it can seem like your ex is flip-flopping between being nice to you or even being downright affectionate and flirtatious, while the next minute they're being a complete jerk and ignoring you altogether. Or maybe your ex just seems to be trying to pick a fight with you every time that you guys interact. So regardless of what your ex is doing, if they're being cold, distant, rude, or even confrontational, it's almost always for one of these 4 reasons. Reason number 1, they still have feelings for you. Now, this may sound bizarre, but often when your ex is acting like an asshole towards you or being cold and distant, it actually means that they still care about you or even have feelings for you. Their cruelty or confrontational behavior is their way of dealing with these emotions, and typically it's actually a subconscious thing rather than an intentional strategy. For any number of reasons, your ex has decided that breaking up is the best, most logical way forward, but yet they're still in love with you, or at least have lingering romantic feelings about you and care for you. These are feelings that they don't want to have anymore because they make getting over the breakup more difficult. And as a result, they can become cold and rude or try to pick fights whenever you guys speak with one another. They think, on some level, that if they can push you away or make you treat them badly in return, that this will make it easier for them to move on. It might sound bizarre, but being mean or rude is a common way many people try to suppress these feelings and emotions after a breakup, so it's definitely more common in people who struggle with their feelings, which is a pretty large slice of the population. If your ex is being very hot and cold towards you, where they're sometimes being nice and affectionate and then suddenly acting mean or indifferent, that's a good indication that they're doing this because they still care for you and they have an internal struggle going on within themselves over the breakup. If you want to learn whether your ex does indeed still have feelings for you, take the free quiz at xbackquiz.com. It takes less than 5 minutes and will evaluate where you stand with your ex right now and what your chances are of getting them back. Again, take the quiz at xbackquiz.com. Now let's move on to reason number 2, which is they feel you're just not getting the message. So the second reason your ex could be acting mean or rude or confrontational is unfortunately because they feel this type of behavior is necessary in order for you to leave them alone and accept the breakup. By treating you poorly or being a downright asshole towards you, they may be hoping you'll give them space they're looking for and stop trying to win them back. If you've been pleading or begging your ex since breaking up, asking for another chance, or promising to change if they'll take you back, then your ex could very well be feeling like you're just not accepting the breakup and they're just being cold and rude to you in order to try to get you to deal with this denial and get their message across. Reason number 3, they hate the idea of hurting you. So lastly, it's also possible your ex is being rude or trying to pick fights with you because they subconsciously feel like this could give them a reason to hurt you by breaking up. This might sound totally bizarre, but it's actually relatively common. Essentially, your ex has decided to break up with you, but because they still have feelings for you and know you're a good person, they hate the idea of having to hurt you or cause you emotional pain by breaking up. As a result, they'll sometimes pick fights or be cruel towards you in hopes that you'll take the bait and react angrily or be equally mean and confrontational in response. This will give them a reason, some sort of justification that will make the breakup feel less one-sided. Now again, I know this sounds like a strange thought process on the surface, but human psychology is often complicated and things like this can happen subconsciously without your ex really even thinking about it. Reason number 4, you did or said something that upset them. I know breakups can make us do a lot of crazy things. Often if your ex is angry at you, then this is just a sign that you did something that crossed the line and obviously upset them. It's not always obvious what this is, because almost anything can cause friction when people are in a heightened state of emotion. So look back at your breakup. It might be something obvious, or it might be something more subtle. Did you get angry? Did you raise your voice? Did you say something that could be considered insulting? In this case, it's possible that your ex's anger towards you is actually justified. They probably don't actually hate you, but they are angry and they want you to know about it. Now, the question that remains is, how do you react or handle this type of behavior from your ex? What should you do to ensure they stop being so mean, cold, or angry towards you and go back to being kind, considerate, and loving, the person that you remember from when you were together? Well, there are 3 things that are almost always guaranteed to help in this kind of situation. Firstly, you need to avoid taking the bait and not allow yourself to be drawn into any kind of conflict with your ex. If they're being mean or rude, then you want to react in a way that they don't expect. By not falling into their trap and by being kind, polite, and mature, this will diffuse any possible confrontation. Now, it's important not to be too nice to your ex though, but you also need to take the moral high ground and not let yourself be dragged into arguments or lash back at your ex in response to their rudeness or cruelty. Secondly, in many cases, you may need to re-engage in another period of no contact. Typically, there's very little you can do or say to help change the way your ex is acting, and therefore ignoring them completely and giving them time and space is often the best strategy to change their behavior and opinion about ever getting back together. I always advocate shutting down the lines of communication with your ex if you're in doubt about what to do next, because this is almost always never going to hurt your chances of getting them back in the long run, but it will ensure you don't fall into their traps accidentally or make matters worse by saying or doing the wrong thing. Thirdly, if you totally screwed up and hurt them, which is definitely possible, then you need to consider apologizing, but only apologize once. If you overdo it, it will make your ex feel awkward or show them that you lacked self-respect. Just let them know that you're sorry and take some space to let them cool off. Lastly, you can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube and take the free quiz at xbackquiz.com to find out your chances of ever getting back together with your ex. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm sorry your ex is being mean or rude to you, and I hope that you found the advice in this video helpful. I'll see you next time.